Hey friends, thanks for watching. I have a really exciting show for you today. I have a friend that actually invited me on his podcast first, and we had such a good time. I'm like, you know what? I got to get this guy on my podcast. So I have Sean Pan with me today. How you doing today, Sean?
Fantastic. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. So thank you for getting up a little early. I know you have a great America trip in front of you with you and your girlfriend, so we'll be quick. I know how important having fun is. So, Sean, why don't you just do us a quick favor, introduce yourself, where you are in the country, a little bit about your background before we kind of dive into the questions.
Absolutely. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Pan. I'm 29 years old, and I live here in the Bay Area. More specifically, I live in Milpitas, California, which is centered right in between San Jose and Fremont. And I've been investing in real estate for about 3 years now. Started investing in Jacksonville, Florida, have some buy and hold properties over there, and then moved on to investing in rehabs here in the Bay Area, most specifically Sunnyvale and Santa Clara.
Very, very cool. What's funny, we didn't talk about this last time. I actually grew up in Sunnyvale. I lived at Wolf and El Camino for 20 years of my life.
One of the properties I just sold is on Hampton Drive, which is right next to Wolf and El Camino.
That's funny. Wow, this world is so small sometimes. So why don't we dive into what we got started with? So you sound like your first investment in real estate was some buy and holds in Florida. Why don't you tell us about that? Out of state investing as a first step is for people that live in the Bay Area, it's pretty common actually. But let's talk about out of state investing real quick.
Well, first of all, the reason why we invest in out of state is because it's a lower price point. So it's a very easy, and it's not too scary to invest out of state where you're only risking a couple of tens of thousands of dollars. Whereas if you buy a property here in the Bay Area, it's $1 million to purchase a single family home, and it doesn't cash flow.
Yeah.
And so basically what happened was I was at work. After a few years, I realized I don't want to be here forever. And I thought, what's the way out? And just like your promotion, like you're promoting one rental at a time, that was my thought process too. I read the books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I started going on websites like Quora.com, where people are talking about the best ways to get that financial freedom. I went on biggerpockets.com, and BiggerPockets pushes, cash flowing out of state rentals.
Yeah.
So I subscribed to that mentality. And so I looked into buying in Jacksonville. And the reason why I even picked Jacksonville is because people kept saying, go to meetups, go to meetups, go to meetups. And on almost every single meetup, Jacksonville is one of the top 10 consistently on those top 10 lists of good places to invest in. And at the time, they had pros and cons. So, they have pros and cons of all the different cities. Most of them are, in the middle of the country. Some of them have snow. Some of them have hurricanes. Some of them have tornadoes, right? And I thought, Florida has hurricanes, but how often do those really do damage? And of course, like the year after I bought those properties, we had Hurricane Irma, and like this latest one where it just leveled a bunch of stuff. And luckily, my properties didn't get affected, but I just thought it was pretty funny at the time.
That's awesome. And again, yeah, when you live on the coast, right? Orange County, the Bay Area, New York, other expensive locales. All the books I ever read when I started were Invest in Your Backyard. And I kept reading those, right? 30 minutes to your house. I'm like, guys, I spent a year and there's nothing, right? You're looking at in Sunnyvale, 1 point whatever for a 1950 ranch. Are you freaking kidding me? Right? There's no way this thing's for cash flow. So it makes total sense that people would go out of state. So you've had a couple in Florida now. How's it been?
Dude, I love those. It's just passive cash flow. Every single month, I get a nice check. Of course, most of that check goes to mortgage payments and sometimes expenses.
Sure.
But still, getting those passive cash flow for doing nothing is great.
One rental at a time works.
Yeah, and that number increases year over year.
Yeah. That's awesome. So have you already raised rents? Has it been long enough to raise rents?
Absolutely. Yeah, they've raised about $100 per door since then. So I have about 6 doors over in Jacksonville right now.
That's awesome. And again, what people don't realize is I keep telling them that this business is you got to think in decades. So you got to think 10 years. And why I say that is because you're going to go through different growth patterns, right? You're in the acquisition mode now, right? Where you've got to 6. That's going to keep growing. But then as time tricks by and you're now in your 35 and you're 36 or whatever it is, you're going to go, oh my God, I just raised rents $100 per door. And that's like $2,000, right? And all of your raise, at least most of it, is just more cash flow, right? Because you're already covering the debt service with old money. So all the rent increase is yours. it's pretty special.
Yeah, it goes straight to the bottom line, pretty much.
Yep, exactly right. All right, so you get a little taste of investing in Jacksonville. Then as you said in your introduction, you get a hankering to do some local flips. And do you remember the first flip you did?
Absolutely, I remember the first flip I did.
Why don't we talk about that?
Okay, so essentially, I had the mentality of buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never intended to be a flipper.
Mm-hmm.
I thought flipping is dangerous. It's short-sighted, and it's a job.
It's a job. Yep.
It's a job. But like I mentioned before, all the forums say go to your local meetups, meet people, and then start doing stuff. Well, that's what I did. And in the Bay Area, most of these meetups are all about flipping houses.
Yeah.
So when you hang out with flippers long enough, you become a flipper yourself.
Yeah.
Just like you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with.
Amen.
It's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I went to enough of these meetups that eventually I said, okay, maybe I'll start flipping houses. And I started going to these events. And at first people wouldn't talk to me because I have no experience in flipping houses. You know how it goes, right? They say, oh, how are you doing? What kind of investing do you do? I said, oh, I don't do anything here. And they go, okay. And they kind of walk away.
Walk away.
So I felt kind of bad. I wanted to get into a deal. I wanted to try something new. And so what I did was I started volunteering at a local meetup, SJRENC. Thank you, Jeff, if you're listening to this. I was his volunteer boy. So me and another friend of mine, we would sit at the desk and check everybody in and pick their money and whatnot. And by doing that, we gained a lot of exposure. So by sitting next to my friend, Elisa Zhang, she's actually pretty popular and someone you might want to interview in the future.
Please make the introduction.
Absolutely. So she's a hustler. Like she hated her job so much. She was working at like Verizon at the time. She would just make phone calls like all day trying to get in touch with these brokers who had these off-market listings. Anyways, at the time, she was already into so many of her own deals. Yeah. She got another off-market listing and said, man, I can't do anything with this. And she kind of went around to different people. They didn't want it. They didn't want to buy it from her as a wholesale. And she's like, hey, Sean, I know you wanted to get into this. Are you interested? We can partner on this. And you take care of everything, but we'll split the profit. Yeah. That way I don't have to pay a wholesale fee to her. And I said, I'm so down. I'm so down. I want to try this. This property was on Borregas Avenue, also in Sunnyvale.
Oh, funny. Okay. I lived on Borregas for a little while. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this house was really small, like 1,250 square feet.
Yeah.
3 bed, 2 bath. It looked like, old style. So the roof is kind of flat.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I know that area.
Yeah. And it was okay. We bought it for a decent price, $865,000, I think, which is pretty amazing because that house does not look that pretty. Yeah. But for $865, that's pretty cheap for the area.
Yeah.
Then let's see, we got in there and honestly, I was scared because you know how like there's always like before photo where you're like, oh my God, this house has been lived in with older people and it just looks kind of deteriorated on the inside. It's dark.
Yeah.
I thought there's no way we can fix this house up. It's a lost cause. But people, my contractor especially, was saying, okay, don't be scared. Like we can make this real nice. I said, okay, I trust you.
Yeah.
Basically, we put in about $75,000. The contractor was extremely quick. We had a turnaround time of about 3 months from close to close.
Yep.
And at the time, this was end of 2017. The market was just booming. And every month I would see the prices increase. Like our comps would go up 50,000, up 100,000. I said, oh my goodness, like I might be able to sell this for like, extra $100,000 than I projected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then when we finally sold it, we sold it for $1.4 million.
Woo!
And we netted almost, over $300,000 on one deal. And so that really opened my eyes. I thought, oh my God, like my taxes on this property is higher than my base salary at work. So why did I go to work this whole year?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, that's when my eyes opened. I thought, okay, this has potential. I tried other businesses in the past. Like I tried selling selfie sticks on Amazon. I tried coding and starting and creating apps on, Google Play and iTunes. But this is the one where you can get like a nice chunk of cash. Yeah. And ideally, I was going to take that money and buy apartment buildings in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
That was the thought process, at least at the time.
Yeah, get chunk money, use chunk money to buy more buy and holds, right? That's the dream, right?
Absolutely.
So a couple of things you shared there. First, because again, I've been doing this a long time. What you didn't know I guess you might have sensed it, but you didn't know, is the market was protecting you, right? The market was going up. The market was screaming hot. And that's not normal, right? There's been two times in my 16-year career where it didn't matter if you ran a bad business, the market protected you. That was kind of 06, 07, and then like late 17, early 18, where stuff just went up because the supply demand was so unbalanced. So first off, congratulations. $300,000 profit on a flip is in what'd you say, 3 months? Shit, 3 months. That's $100K a month, man. That's okay, right?
It's all right.
That's all right. No big deal.
No big
And
deal.
that's amazing. So I'm guessing you see that, you go, wow, if some is good, more is better. So I'm guessing there was a second flip in your future.
That's right. Actually, so after that, you never want to be like a one-hit wonder, right?
Yeah.
There's always that feeling like, oh, I did it once, I can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I closed on that property, it was December 2017. And it's crazy how we held on to that property till like, February 2018, it would have gone up another $100,000.
Oh, wow.
So like my friend Lisa was looking back like, hey, we should have sold this later, but you can't think like that, right?
No, you can't. Take the $300,000, move on.
Take the wins and move on. But it's crazy because I saw the power of talking to agents and getting off-market listings, because that's what she did. So I spent my days just calling agents. And because the market was so hot, every agent was like, yeah, right. Like,
yeah,
not this off-market deal. No. It's going on the market full price. I even had agents come up to me and say, hey, look, this is an off-market deal, okay? This guy just bought this house and closed on it a month ago. And he wants to sell it for only $50,000 more than what he bought it for. And I'm like, what?
Dude, I saw that in 2000. I saw people doing that with raw land back in 07 and 08. People would buy into a new build. Oh, I bought first phase. Here, buy my contract for $50,000. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? It's crazy. So it happened again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
real quick, I'm sorry, I didn't ask about the first deal. So you bought it for $865. Was that your money, private money, a bank loan? How'd you get into that $865? Because I know we'll get questions from folks.
Absolutely. So, I've been working for not that long, but I save a lot of money. So if you knew me in college, I was that guy that doesn't go out. I had a girlfriend back then. Why should I go out?
Yeah.
I save my money. People think I'm like super stingy and stuff, but I didn't like spending money.
Mm-hmm.
I held it. I started learning how to invest. I had in the stock market. Obviously, just like you said, because the market was good, it covered me. And no matter what I put my money in, it all went up. So
you're a genius. You're Warren Buffett, man.
Exactly. Confidence is real. And I started thinking, man, all these people are so conservative. Like they must have, their models must be wrong. Their models suck. The market is right. The models are wrong, whatever. So yeah, I had enough capital for that.
Okay.
And for the down payment at least. So I got in with a hard money loan.
Okay.
Put 10% down payment, and then hard money covers the rest of it.
Yeah. So were you paying monthly on that hard money?
That's right. Monthly on the hard money.
It was like $4,000, $6,000.
That one was about $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000, right? Right off the top of my head. Yeah, so again, the market protects you, right? Writing that $5K check's no big deal when it goes up $50,000 a month. It's like, no big deal, right?
No big deal.
No big deal. But markets
it's
change.
only short term too. It's only for 3 months. It's not a big deal at all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now you get done with this first one. You start calling brokers looking for the second one. I'm guessing you found a second one eventually.
Yeah. So what happened was I ended up partnering with another friend of mine.
Okay.
He independently also got a deal around the same time frame, and he also made around $300,000. So both of us are sitting pretty like, oh, money is easy to be made. Like
you're just throwing stacks on the table.
Yeah. I mean, at the time he was working at Intero, the real estate brokerage company, as like their secretary kind of guy, making $15 an hour. So after that, he was like, I don't need this. And he just left.
Yeah.
To do real estate full time. So I thought, man, he's doing real estate full time. I have a lot of capital too.
Yeah.
Let's combine forces and do something together.
Okay.
So I partnered with him, and we ended up sending, just like a casual $11,000 worth of mailers. Who cares? $11,000 worth of mailers.
$11,000 of mailers. Ouch.
Well, in this area, I think the average is about $18,000 per acquisition. So
Okay.
11 grand. And
Oh,
if you get a deal, that's actually considered pretty good.
okay, cool. All right. Well, that's
Yeah.
good to know. All right.
So we blasted everything, and we got a bunch of calls for sure. Most of them are cussing us out, saying, how dare you ask us to sell our house to you?" Um, but we did get one really good letter.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so from those batches, we got two deals.
Okay.
One worked out really well, and one worked out very, very poorly. We'll talk about the good one first.
Sure.
The She was an out-of-state owner, so she had this huge property on Sunnyvale. It was on Oneida Drive.
Yep. I
Do you
know
know
it.
where Oneida is?
I
So
do.
these houses, they look like the Leave It to Beaver
Yeah.
houses. Huge 2,000 square feet homes with like 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And she wanted something pretty high, maybe like $2.2 million. And we looked at our ARV and we thought, ooh, like if we're lucky, maybe we can get 2.4 million for it. So if we
Yeah.
buy a 2.2, there's absolutely no way we would make any money.
Yeah. No room. Yeah.
And we said, look, like we started negotiating with her, and she had a base price. And we said, how about this? Instead of us buying it from you, how about we partner on this together? So you keep the home, you continue paying whatever mortgage that you have and taxes and utilities and whatnot. And we'll come in, we'll get a contractor to, fix up the house, and we'll pay for the contractor.
Mm.
But at close of escrow, you reimburse us plus some money for our time. And then after a certain price point, we'll split that gross 50-50.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also we said that we would be able to choose the agent. And because I have a license,
Yeah.
even though I don't really practice it, I get a referral from the agent.
Sure.
So then we got some extra commission from there. And then
Okay.
she's like, yeah, that sounds like a great deal.
Okay. That's very
Yeah.
creative. I have not heard of that. How did you actually put together a note or some kind of joint venture paperwork to protect everyone?
Yes, we did. Although, to be honest, I don't know how strong that note would hold up in court
Yeah.
because we wrote it, and it explains everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that would actually legitimately hold up in court.
No, but yeah,
it's
there was some kind of agreement with ink on it where you both signed, so there was at least an appearance of, I don't know, security.
and legitimacy, and we have
Illegitimacy.
like witness signatures and whatnot too. So
All right.
it felt like and plus people don't want to like scam other people, right?
No.
So
Well,
you write down,
you
this is your
hope not.
word. Yeah, this is your word, and hopefully you perform to this.
Yeah.
But
Okay. All
yeah,
right. So it sounds like that was a good one. So she signs. How long was the make ready or remodel, and then ultimately the sale?
so that one I think was this was about June, and we sold it mid-September.
All right. So another 3 or 4 months. So far you're cranking along. And
That's right.
when you exit that one, how much did you and your partner roughly get out of it?
So I think total we made about 160 grand profit
Wow. Net.
net for our side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would. So far you're knocking on the door of $500,000 in 2 deals.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
good.
money, I'm like, at this time at work, I'm just sitting there like, man, I don't want to be here. Talk to all my coworkers, and they're talking about working really hard and getting promotions. And I'm like, you guys are foolish. Like,
Yeah.
I just spent like, a couple of weeks chilling, and I got the same money as you did working hard, getting that promotion,
Yeah, that's okay. All right, now you get slapped in the face. Something didn't work out.
It's very, very bad. It's a horror story of all
All right.
horror stories. So
Let's
the other
talk.
mailer we got, it's so funny because at the time I thought we got a great deal, and I would actually talk about this deal as if it's a success story.
Mm.
So a success story turned to giant failure. So basically, this house was also in Sunnyvale, Hampton Drive, near the one that you lived
Yep.
by. Okay. Beautiful home right next to the Apple campus.
Oh yeah,
two
yeah,
long blocks from it.
yeah.
And the house was actually on the market for $2 million.
Okay.
And the agent is from Turlock. So it's, 2 hours away from here.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to come by for
Like
open house.
4 hours away from here.
Yeah. Right. And he took his pictures with like, I don't know, a crappy little camera, maybe a flip phone camera.
Yeah.
The people live there. So the furniture was all around,
Yeah.
pictures are blurry. And he said, no open houses. If you want to go in the house, please contact the seller directly. If you're a regular home like buyer, are you really going to contact this home seller?
No.
No way.
Exactly. Okay.
Down the street, same street, Hampton, okay, was a nicer home, a little bit bigger, and it was on the market for $2.5 million. So I thought, okay, you know, I don't think our house can go for 2.5, but maybe 2.2, maybe
Yeah.
2.3. I'm thinking that seems pretty reasonable. This house is big, 2,000 square feet as well.
Yeah.
And it was listed for 2, no bids. They said they got someone for 1.925. And then they were like, nah, they wanted 2, but then
Yeah.
he backed away. And then there was nothing else after that.
Okay.
And according to my numbers, I thought we can get it. Like if we got for 1.8, we'd already be pretty good in the clear.
Okay.
And I just read this book. I can't remember the title of it, but it's a negotiating book by Chris Voss.
Okay.
So it's like, I think it's like negotiate as if your life depended on it or something like that.
All right.
And he said, if you want to negotiate with numbers, you have to write exact numbers. So if you write like 1.8, they'll say, nah, I want 1.85. So I told my friend to bid low. We bid 1.7 at first. They said no. And I said, let's give them a really weird number. So it's just random numbers. So it's like 1.757923.
Okay.
Okay. And I remember that because it's such a weird number, right? And they looked at it, they said, whoa, like who puts a bid like this? And then they actually accepted it.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, we actually got it for, under 40 grand, 40 grand under than what we thought we should be buying it for.
Okay. So far, so good.
So far, so good. And then the agent says, okay, write up the offer. And I thought, oh my God, like he doesn't realize that usually we let the selling agent double end it.
Yeah.
So I wrote the offer, I got an extra 45 grand. I thought, whoa, like this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So far you're smelling like roses. Now you're up to
Exactly.
$500,000.
Exactly. And then, the house was actually in pretty good shape. We didn't think we would need to do that much work to it.
Okay.
But we went in and we thought, oh, okay, like we have a lot of margin here. Why not? Like, why not make it the prettiest and best?
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. So then we went in there. We said, oh, there's a chimney in the middle of the living room. Let's remove that and make a open living space. All 3 bathrooms. Yeah, why not? It's only 10 grand each. Let's fix the bathroom. We got money. We made the whole house beautiful.
Okay.
But it took a long time.
Yeah.
Because when we removed that chimney, now you have architects, structural engineers, and city inspectors who did come in and look at everything. And that pushed us out by an extra month or a month and a half.
Oh, at least a month. Yeah, probably a month to 6 weeks. Easy. Yeah.
Because when we removed that chimney, there is this weird story. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe it. But you know how there's a giant beam that replaces whatever structural thing you had? Okay. There's a giant beam, and then that beam needs to be supported by some other beam that goes to the ground. And then that beam on the ground has to connect to your foundation.
Anchored, yeah.
It's like some kind of joist, right?
Yep.
But the joist was a different size. Like it needed to be this wide instead of this wide. And because of that, we got delayed 3 weeks because we need our structural engineer to confirm, yes, like that new joist will work on this beam. 3 weeks for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. Right. It is what it is, right? We kept moving.
So your timeline starts to slip.
And by the time we finish,
spending a little too much money.
I wouldn't even say too much money. Like we kind of budgeted between a little under $100,000. This is a nice house, okay? $2 million home. I'm not going to trip over that.
Okay.
We finally put on the market in late October.
This is October 18.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Oh.
And at the time, we're sitting pretty. Like I had a bunch of money sitting, looking at me. Like, all right, that's good. I'm okay. But that's when the fire happens.
Yeah. Okay.
The market slips. The fire up in Paradise.
Oh yeah. Yep.
People don't want to go outside in a fire.
No, I remember, dude. I couldn't run. I run all the time. I was like, oh my God, I can't breathe.
I went to Santana Row with a friend, and it was the first time that I didn't have to wait in line for this restaurant I go to. I said, "Oh, we just have to walk in. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
Oh, fire. Right.
Yeah. I go to Santana Row all the time. What's your choice? Is it which one?
Oh man, it's slipping me right now. But that one seafood. Oh, EMC. My friend actually owns it in SoCal. Okay. He owns the branch. So.
Oh yeah, EMC. I like it. There you go. Okay, cool. All right. So you put it on the market. Life events happen. In this case, a horrible fire in Paradise, which created horrible air condition for us down here.
Yep.
But also that means nobody's going to open houses.
No one's going to open houses. And then 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, and then 3 weeks go by, and people say, "Hey, how come your DOM so high?" If you don't know what DOM is, it's days on market.
Yeah.
So in this area, if your house doesn't sell within 9 days, there's something wrong with your house, right? Like there's instant stigma that people are like, oh, there must be something wrong with this home. And then they start nitpicking. They said, hey, this house looks pretty dark. It's not dark. It's just that it's really bright outside, right? You go inside the home, okay, it's a little bit darker.
Yeah.
The house also had this one major flaw. And the major flaw is that there's no garage.
Aha, yes. Yeah.
For me, I grew up here in the Bay Area. Who needs a garage? Like there's plenty of parking outside.
Yeah.
People park their stuff in their garage. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, garages in the Bay Area are not for cars. They're for
No, they're not for
stuff.
cars. They're for stuff. They're for like bicycles and snowboards and like whatever like old printers you have.
Exactly.
Maybe like a laundry room too. And it's just crazy. People were like, "Oh my god, there's no garage here." And that's a deal breaker. And there's a giant shed in the back. Okay, there's a giant shed in the back, and there's a carport, and there's drive space, and there's you can park on the street. It's not like some other places here where you can't even park on the street. There's plenty of parking on the premises, but no garage. And so, a whole month goes by, and this is getting to December timeframe, and the market really cooled down back then.
It did, yeah.
And granted, don't forget, I bought this with hard money.
Yes, you did.
For basically I bought for 1.7, and the hard money was for about 1.58.
Ooh.
So hard money with 1.58 is 11.5 grand a month.
Ouch. Okay.
That's on one house. Okay. I had other properties also. So every single month I'm paying big checks. And I went on a trip to Asia to kind of like decompress. And I bought this trip, way back when I thought I had a lot of money, I was going to go out and party every single day. That didn't happen. It ended up being a trip of self-reflection. And I would talk to my friends in like Taiwan and asking about the economics there and how much they make after graduating from college. And I was like, my God, I'm paying your salary every month in holding costs alone. I felt like a pretty big boss, not going to lie. Like, all right, like I can afford to pay this every single month, but it hurt.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And, we took it off the market for a whole month to reset the DOM. We put it back on the market in February, and the same thing happened. Like we even reduced the price. People would come in, they would love the house and then say, oh, no garage. That's weird.
Okay.
So I actually went to the city. I said, hey, what can we do about this? And we looked at it, and the answer is nothing. Basically, the lot, lots are usually square, and the house is usually also parallel, a smaller square within that bigger square. Yep. This house was built at a time where you can build a house however you wanted. So this, smaller square was actually a long rectangle and crooked on the lot. Yeah.
Oh,
so
setbacks. Yeah.
So I don't have a setback to create a 10-foot driveway to convert that back storage shed into a new garage. Right. Since the property is also crooked, I can't create a garage like going straight because they want the garages to be parallel to the street.
Yeah.
And essentially, if I wanted a garage really, really badly, I would have to scrape the whole house and do a new build, which is what my neighbors are doing now. Actually, the neighbors are doing a new construction, and that house is going to be worth like $3.5 million when they're done.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So how does this end? I'm assuming you don't own it, but I don't know that for sure.
Yep. So basically, we put on the market for another month or so, and just nothing happens, no offers. And I'm drowning at this point. I can't hold it anymore. I talked to everybody, and everyone's shocked because who knew that a garage would be our downfall like this?
Yeah.
No one knew this. Not even my agent, not any investors. We just had to knock down the price even more, just get a bunch of people in there, and then finally get offers. And we finally got an offer, but it was very, 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 very low. Okay. And don't forget, when you have hard money, usually it's a 1-year term. So after 1 year, if you can't complete, it's a balloon payment. You need to pay it back. So you need to refi or go bankrupt, right? Yeah. No choice. Yeah. So at that point, I wasn't trying to refinance it. We don't know how much longer we could hold it for. Renting it on Airbnb didn't really make sense because in Sunnyvale, there's Airbnb ordinances, which means that you can't do it unless you live in the house. Yeah. If you rent it out, you can maybe get $4,500 a month, but then, $4,500, but I'm spending 11.5 grand. Yeah. Also, once you rent it out, the value of the property drops as well because now it's not a new home.
Right. So, yeah, exactly. Okay.
So we just said, all right, get rid of it. And we sold it for like 1.675. So 100 grand less than what we bought it for.
And you lost all your repair money and your holding costs.
And the holding costs. So it was a huge loss.
Yeah. So let's just talk about this. This is great that we're talking about this because this is reality.
This is reality.
Yeah. So flipping is a job, just like wholesaling. But what I tell people all the time, the last 5 years have been fake. Real estate markets like the last 5 years don't come around very often. And what I mean by that is the market basically makes you look like a genius because it just goes up all the time. But when it turns, if you're over leveraged or you have too many projects or you have all this hard money going out, that you could very easily go bankrupt. So for you, selling at a loss, I got to congratulate you, because I saw personally, I had 6 or 8 people in my personal network in '08 that didn't sell, that were bankrupt by '09. Right? They kept telling themselves that they were Warren Buffett or whatever genius they want to be, and that the market would eventually turn. They didn't want to take the loss, the L,
Yep.
and they paid the ultimate price. Some of them lost their, relationships over it. They all lost their wealth. So, good for you, right?
Thank
Selling
you.
it, I'm sure, was hard, but it was the best thing you could have done.
And the crazy thing is, I thought I was prepared for a downturn as well. Don't forget, I had a lot of reserve.
Yeah.
But after paying all that money every month, the reserves dwindled. So my cash reserve were gone. Now I had all my savings that were in the market. The stuff that's in the stock market, those are long-term plays. You buy a stock 20 years ago, it's going to go up,
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. But yeah, like, because my cash was all gone, I had to
Yeah.
start pulling from those stock reserves.
Ah.
But what I didn't realize is that when there's a downturn, the stock reserves also shrink too.
It's amazing
So,
how
like,
that happens.
And then I was like, oh, I see. That's how people lose all their money. Like, I had money, but most of that money went away. Right?
Yeah. It suddenly disappeared. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you fast forward to today.
Yeah.
What have you learned?
So, funnily enough, I learned that losing money isn't that big of a deal.
I like
It's a
that.
big deal, and people get very emotional over it. But then when you lose it, you realize, okay, nothing has changed. I still have my house, still have my car, still have my friends.
Nice.
I still eat the same food. My quality of life hasn't changed. It's just that my net worth has gone,
Yeah.
and my ego has obviously been diminished significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I realize, of course, don't over leverage like that.
Yeah.
If possible. And we had opportunities to take quick wins on that deal. Actually, like, we decided to make it into this nice house instead of trying to wholesale it or put it back on the market with better marketing. Because at the time, we probably could have sold it for maybe 1.9 and gotten some profit.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So yeah, that's a good question. If you had to do it again, right? If you had the magic time machine, is that what you would do? You would just wholesale it. Maybe you wouldn't take out the chimney. I mean, what would you do different?
Yeah, I think so. First of all, I would actually try to increase my network so that I have more people who can work on the project. And I probably wouldn't do all this work if I had to. Like, at the time, there was someone else trying to wholesale a deal on the same street for 1.825, and it was significantly less. It was a lot worse than our property.
Okay.
In condition wise and whatnot. So, if we even wholesaled it at 1.825, we would have made money on that house.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it would be smarter about things.
Yeah, but I think in the long run, it probably doesn't feel good to say or hear, but you're going to be much better off, because real estate investing is something you could do for decades, right? You're going to be doing this for 50 years, taking that L and getting the scars, because you're going to remember that house forever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm fairly certain in saying you won't repeat that mistake, which will save you for going forward. So that's cool.
We hope. We know there's always going to be mistakes. We hope we don't make the same mistakes twice.
Yes. Yeah. The most expensive mistake is the one that is repeated. Yeah. All right. So I'm curious. So as we wrap this up, I always ask you to look into the future. So let's look out 3 to 5 years. What is Sean doing 3 to 5 years out?
Okay. So 3 to 5 years from now, I'm actually going full in on real estate. In 2 months, I'm actually leaving my full-time job because, yeah, it's crazy. So I actually work as a system engineer right now. I got a degree in electrical engineering, but I felt like that job was not very fulfilling to me. Whereas real estate, it's very creative. And I love the people who are in this business. People like yourself are giving value all the time. People on my network group, same thing. They're giving so much value to people for free. They want to see other people succeed.
Yep.
And, I got inspired. I want to do the same thing too, which is why I actually hosted the podcast. I'm able to talk to people who are doing, way better than I am and who understand things more. I got humbled down, but there are people out there who, they truly know more, and I want to learn from them. And by actually hosting a podcast, I'm able to reach out and talk to people such as yourself. Like, if I didn't have my podcast, I wouldn't be able to talk to you.
Yep.
And unless I knew you before. So, it's a great opportunity. And I'm just increasing my network base. So I'm hosting meetup groups here in the Bay Area, and I also created a blog site. To be honest, I don't know the exact strategy I want to move on to. Buying properties, one rental at a time was great. But I do need to build up my capital stack as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah. So I think a guy like you, you're what, 29? You said that earlier, right?
Hello?
Hello. Hi. Sean, are you there?
Sorry, you lagged out?
Yeah, it's okay. No worries. Still recording.
Okay. All right, cool. Where did we leave off?
So you're 29, and we're not sure what you're doing.
Okay.
Right. So what I would tell you is you're in a unique position because you know buy and hold works, and you have experience creating what I call chunk cash, whether that's either wholesaling or flipping.
Yep.
I just think what you're going to experience now is you're going to now enter a full cycle because you only rode the wave up.
Yep.
Now you're going to see what it feels like to roll over, and you're going to gain so much experience. You're probably going to continue to flip in the Bay Area, I would guess. But I think you need to be more strategic how you do chunk off money and either buy more in Jacksonville or wherever it is, because even flipping and making six-figure checks is still a job, and it can all go away as you've experienced once already. So that's what I think is in your future. Make sense?
And making those smart partnerships with people experience too. So something looking forward to.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun for me. I want to thank you for giving us some time. I look forward to being invited to your meetup group.
Absolutely. I'll send you a link right now.
There you go. All right, buddy.
Let's get on Facebook.
There you go. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for giving me your time. This has been a great story, and I look forward to congratulations on being out in 2 months. That's a big deal.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being on your show.
All right, Sean. Take care of yourself. Thanks.
See you. Bye.